Introduction. Your life is calling for deep, radical change. You're exhausted from trying to succeed in systems that weren't designed for your feminine essence, and you're ready to discover the immense power that lies in embracing who you truly are. Olivia sat in her corner office on the 42nd floor, staring at city lights blinking like distant stars through floor-to-ceiling windows. At 38, she had everything society told her she should want: a six-figure salary, a prestigious title as vice president of operations, designer suits, and a luxury apartment in the financial district. Yet as she reached for her third cup of coffee at 9 p.m., preparing for another late night of reports, she felt utterly hollow. The chronic fatigue had become her constant companion. Her body ached from tension she couldn't release. Sleep felt like a luxury she couldn't afford, and when she did collapse into bed, her mind raced with tomorrow's demands. She had climbed the corporate ladder by adopting masculine hustle culture that rewarded those who could outwork everyone else. But somewhere along the way, she had lost herself entirely. The breaking point came during a board meeting, when she felt sudden, overwhelming intuition that the merger her company was pursuing would be disastrous. Every fiber of her being screamed no, but she dismissed the feeling as stress-induced anxiety. She had learned to silence her inner voice years ago, replacing it with data and logic. 3 months later, when the merger collapsed and cost millions, she realized her intuition had been absolutely correct. That night changed everything. Instead of pushing harder and working longer, she chose to listen to the whisper she had been ignoring: there had to be another way. Your Sacred Transformation Workshop. This book exists for one revolutionary purpose: to guide you through complete transformation, from depletion to divine power, from exhaustion to exquisite vitality, from surviving to thriving through sacred principles of feminine wisdom. Unlike traditional self-help books offering theory and inspiration, this is an intensive workshop experience you complete in your own sacred space. Each chapter functions as a hands-on module building upon the previous one, creating a comprehensive journey from cellular level to cosmic impact. Your transformation operates on 3 interconnected levels. Physical and energetic renewal. Break free from chronic exhaustion by honoring your body's natural rhythms and energy patterns. Intuitive development and trust. Access, interpret, and trust your inner guidance system for better decisions in every life area. Authentic abundance creation. Generate prosperity through feminine principles of receptivity and collaboration rather than force. WHO this book serves. This workshop is designed for women at crucial crossroads, sensing that traditional success models fundamentally misalign with their deepest nature. You are the woman who feels depleted by conventional achievement. Perhaps you've reached external markers of success, but find yourself chronically exhausted and spiritually empty. You've been playing by rules not designed for feminine essence. You sense there's a deeper, more authentic way to live and work. Despite achievement's persistent inner knowing whispers, there must be another path, one honoring natural rhythms and celebrating intuitive gifts. You're ready to embrace intuitive nature while building real prosperity. You've experienced knowing things you couldn't logically explain, and you're curious about developing these abilities as practical tools. What makes this different? This workshop uniquely bridges ancient feminine wisdom with modern neuroscience. You'll discover how practices like moon cycle awareness are now supported by research in chronobiology and neuroplasticity. Every chapter contains specific practices, creating real measurable changes. You'll engage in energy cultivation, intuitive development exercises, and abundance creation experiments that transform through experience rather than just understanding. The journey takes you from cellular restoration to cosmic impact. You'll begin by restoring physical vitality, develop intuitive abilities, create authentic abundance, then share gifts with the world sustainably. Your sacred journey awaits. Prepare for transformational adventure, unlike anything you've experienced. This intensive workshop guides complete metamorphosis from surviving to thriving. Your journey begins with cellular renewal, discovering why traditional energy approaches have failed, and learning to work with your body's wisdom. You'll master practices restoring life force at fundamental levels. Next, you'll awaken intuitive superpowers, learning to distinguish mental chatter from genuine guidance and developing systems for applying insights to practical decisions. The middle section focuses on creating authentic abundance through feminine principles, generating prosperity through receptivity rather than constant action, collaboration rather than competition. As transformation deepens, you'll extend gifts into the world, discovering unique leadership forms and creating positive impact without burning out. Throughout this journey, you'll experience profound integration. Each chapter builds comprehensively, touching every life aspect. You'll notice changes in how you feel, what you achieve, and how opportunities flow toward you. By workshop completion, you'll embody divine feminine power, trust intuitive wisdom, create abundant prosperity authentically, and make positive world impact while maintaining well-being. Most importantly, you'll remember patriarchal culture has tried making you forget. Feminine essence isn't something to overcome, but to celebrate as your greatest power source. Your sacred commitment begins now. 1. The Energy Archaeology Dig, unearthing what's draining your life force. Your body's hidden energy map. Imagine your body as a living, breathing energy map where every sensation tells a story. Just as archaeologists carefully excavate layers of history, we must learn to read the subtle signals our bodies send us about what truly nourishes or depletes our life force. Your body holds an ancient wisdom that modern life has taught us to ignore, but it's time to remember how to listen. Most women have been taught to push through discomfort, to override fatigue, and to silence the whispers of intuition that come through physical sensations. We've learned to treat our bodies like machines that should perform, regardless of how we feel. But your body is actually your most reliable energy detector, constantly providing feedback about what serves your highest good and what drains your vitality. The Energy Body Scan Technique. Starting from the crown of your head and moving slowly down to your toes, you learn to identify areas of tension, lightness, heaviness, or vitality. This practice reveals where energy flows freely and where it gets stuck or blocked. Notice how different thoughts, memories, or decisions create immediate shifts in your physical experience. Emotional energy mapping. Different emotions create distinct physical sensations in your body. Joy might feel like warmth spreading through your chest, while anxiety could manifest as a tight knot in your stomach. By tracking these patterns, you develop an internal GPS system that guides you toward energy-giving experiences and away from depleting ones. Environmental energy awareness. Your body responds differently to various spaces, people, and situations. Learning to read these responses helps you make intuitive decisions about where to invest your precious energy and where to create boundaries. Diana had always prided herself on being logical and data-driven in her corporate career. But when she started doing daily body scans, she discovered something remarkable. Every time she thought about her weekly team meetings, her shoulders would tense and her stomach would clench. When she imagined her weekend art classes, her chest would open and her breathing would deepen. Her body was giving her clear guidance. This awareness became the foundation for major life changes that restored her vitality. In Chapter 2, we'll explore how to rewire your body's energy operating system at the cellular level. When masculine energy drains feminine bodies. The modern world operates primarily on masculine energy principles: constant doing, linear thinking, competition, and pushing through regardless of natural rhythms. While these qualities have their place, when feminine-bodied individuals try to operate exclusively in this mode, it creates a profound energetic mismatch that leads to burnout, anxiety, and chronic fatigue. Understanding this mismatch is crucial for reclaiming your vitality. Many women have been conditioned to believe that success requires adopting masculine strategies, but this approach often works against our natural energy systems rather than with them. The always-on syndrome. Masculine energy thrives on consistent output and achievement, but feminine energy naturally flows in cycles of expansion and contraction, much like the moon phases. Ignoring these natural rhythms and maintaining constant productivity creates deep depletion. Your body craves periods of rest, reflection, and renewal, but modern culture demands perpetual action. Linear versus cyclical thinking patterns. Masculine energy moves in straight lines toward goals, while feminine energy spirals, integrates, and processes. When we force ourselves into purely linear thinking and planning, we exhaust our natural processing abilities and disconnect from our intuitive wisdom. This creates mental fatigue and blocks creative solutions. Competition over collaboration. The masculine paradigm often emphasizes individual achievement and competition, while feminine energy thrives on connection, collaboration, and community support. Operating in constant competitive mode depletes the collaborative spirit that naturally energizes feminine beings. Adrian was a successful entrepreneur who had built his business using traditional masculine strategies, long hours, aggressive competition, and linear goal setting. When he hired Hannah as his business partner, he initially tried to get her to adopt the same approaches. However, her energy and creativity plummeted. It wasn't until she began honoring her natural cycles, taking time for reflection and integration, and focusing on collaborative relationships that her contributions to the business became truly extraordinary. Her success taught him that sustainable abundance requires honoring different energetic approaches. This energetic mismatch isn't just about productivity, it affects every area of life. In Chapter 2, we'll explore how to rewire your cellular programming to support your natural feminine energy patterns. Energy vampires draining your life force. Energy leaks are often invisible thieves that slowly drain your life force without you realizing it. Like a small hole in a bucket, these seemingly minor drains can leave you feeling mysteriously exhausted even when you think you're taking good care of yourself. Identifying and addressing these leaks is crucial for reclaiming your natural vitality. Think of your energy as a precious resource that deserves protection. Just as you wouldn't leave your front door wide open, you need to become aware of where your energy is flowing and whether those outlets are serving your highest good. Energetic vampires and toxic relationships. Certain people consistently leave you feeling drained, confused, or emotionally depleted. These relationships often involve manipulation, drama, or one-sided giving where your energy flows out, but nothing nourishing flows back in. You might notice feeling heavy, anxious, or exhausted after spending time with these individuals. Environmental energy drains. Cluttered spaces, harsh lighting, toxic work environments, or living situations that don't align with your values can create constant low-level stress that depletes your energy reserves. Your environment should support and restore you, not constantly challenge your well-being. Pay attention to how different spaces make you feel. Unconscious patterns and habits. Perfectionism, people-pleasing, saying yes when you mean no, scrolling social media mindlessly, or engaging in negative self-talk all create subtle but persistent energy drains. These patterns often run so deep they feel normal, making them difficult to recognize. The key is developing awareness. Melissa couldn't understand why she felt exhausted every Sunday evening, even after a relaxing weekend. Through careful tracking, she realized that her weekly phone calls with her mother, though well-intentioned, left her feeling criticized and drained. Her mother's constant complaints and subtle guilt trips were creating an energy leak that affected her entire week. Learning to set loving boundaries around these conversations, limiting their length and frequency, helped her reclaim her Sunday peace and start each week feeling more energized. Now that you've identified what's draining your energy, Chapter 2 will show you how to rewire your body's energy operating system to support sustained vitality instead of chronic depletion. Your energy footprint in 24 hours. The 24-hour energy audit is a powerful diagnostic tool that reveals exactly where your energy goes throughout a typical day. Like a financial audit shows you where your money flows, This exercise illuminates the often unconscious ways you spend your precious life force energy. This awareness becomes the foundation for making conscious choices about how to invest your energy for maximum vitality and joy. Most women are surprised by what they discover during this process. Activities we assume are energizing might actually be draining us, while simple moments we overlook could be our greatest sources of renewal. Hourly energy tracking. Every hour for 24 hours, you rate your energy level on a scale of 1 to 10 and note what activities, people, or environments you've been engaging with. This reveals patterns you might never have noticed consciously. Set gentle reminders on your phone to check in without disrupting your natural flow. Energy input versus output analysis. For each activity or interaction, you identify whether it gave you energy, drained your energy, or felt neutral. This helps you see the true cost of various commitments and relationships in your life. You might discover that certain productive activities actually leave you depleted. Intuitive body check-ins. Alongside the numerical ratings, you note physical sensations, emotions, and any intuitive insights that arise. This develops your ability to read your body's energy signals in real time, building on the body mapping skills we explored earlier. Sophia was shocked when her 24-hour energy audit revealed that her morning routine, which she thought was healthy, was actually starting her day at an energy deficit. Her habit of checking emails and social media immediately upon waking was flooding her system with other people's priorities and anxieties before she'd even gotten out of bed. She also discovered that her Tuesday evening yoga class gave her more sustained energy than her expensive personal training sessions. These insights helped her redesign her schedule around what actually nourished her, rather than what she thought should be good for her. Your audit results will guide us into Chapter 2, where we'll explore how to rewire your cellular programming to support these energy-giving patterns. Charlotte's body rebelled against people-pleasing. Victoria came to this work after experiencing mysterious chronic fatigue that doctors couldn't explain. Despite eating and getting adequate sleep, she felt exhausted most days. Through the energy archaeology process, she uncovered a shocking truth. Her lifelong pattern of people-pleasing was creating a constant state of internal stress that was literally making her sick. She realized that she said yes to requests even when her body clearly signaled no. She would agree to social events that drained her, take on extra projects at work to avoid disappointing colleagues, and spend hours listening to friends' problems without ever sharing her own needs. Her body was in a perpetual state of override, ignoring its natural wisdom in favor of external approval. The turning point came when she started honoring her body's signals and setting boundaries aligned with her true energy levels. She began saying no to commitments that didn't genuinely excite her, limited her availability for others' emotional dumping, and started prioritizing activities that restored rather than depleted her. Within 3 months, her mysterious fatigue began lifting. She discovered reserves of energy she hadn't felt in years. Her journey revealed that people-pleasing isn't just emotionally exhausting, it creates a fundamental disconnection from your own life force that can manifest as physical illness. When we consistently override our internal guidance system to please others, we literally drain our vital energy at the cellular level. Chapter Summary. In this chapter, we've begun the essential work of energy archaeology, excavating the hidden patterns that drain your life force and learning to read your body's wisdom. You've discovered how to map your personal energy ecosystem through body awareness, recognizing that your physical sensations are a sophisticated guidance system. You've identified how masculine energy patterns can create depletion when applied without honoring feminine rhythms. You've uncovered hidden energy leaks through toxic relationships, depleting environments, and unconscious patterns. The 24-hour energy audit gave you practical tools for tracking where your energy flows. Now that you've identified what's been draining your precious life force, Chapter 2 will show you how to rewire your body's energy operating system to support sustained vitality instead of chronic depletion. 2. The cellular revolution, rewiring your body's energy operating system. When your body rebels against hustle. The fundamental difference between masculine and feminine energy isn't just philosophical, it's biological. While masculine energy operates in a steady, linear pattern, optimized for consistent output, feminine energy moves in waves, spirals, and cycles that mirror the natural rhythms of the earth and moon. This cyclical nature affects everything from hormone production to cellular regeneration, yet most women have been conditioned to ignore these natural fluctuations in favor of constant productivity. Your body is literally designed to ebb and flow. Understanding how feminine energy moves through the body requires recognizing that women's biology operates on complex rhythms that extend far beyond monthly cycles. The nervous system of women is naturally more sensitive and responsive to environmental and emotional changes, processing information through multiple pathways simultaneously rather than the more linear processing typical of masculine energy patterns. Key biological differences include hormonal fluctuations that create distinct energy phases throughout each month, cellular energy production that varies based on estrogen and progesterone levels, neurotransmitter sensitivity that changes throughout hormonal cycles, sleep patterns that require different restoration approaches than men. Rose was a successful marketing executive who had built her career on being always on. She scheduled important meetings regardless of where she was in her cycle, pushed through low-energy days with stimulants, and wondered why she felt increasingly disconnected from her intuition. When she began tracking her energy patterns, she discovered she naturally had breakthrough insights during her luteal phase and peak creative energy during ovulation. She restructured her work schedule accordingly. Within 3 months, her productivity increased by 40% while working fewer hours, and she reported feeling more aligned with her authentic self than ever before. The hustle culture teaches us to override these natural rhythms, creating internal rebellion that manifests as chronic fatigue despite adequate sleep, anxiety and overwhelm during naturally reflective phases, creative blocks during high output periods, diminished intuitive abilities. Your body isn't broken when it resists constant productivity. It's responding exactly as designed. When bodies rebel against constant output, modern society operates on a masculine, linear model that expects the same energy output every day, but women's bodies are designed for cyclical productivity. Research shows that women's cognitive abilities, physical strength, and emotional capacity naturally fluctuate throughout their menstrual cycle due to hormonal changes affecting neurotransmitter production and cellular metabolism. Fighting against these natural rhythms creates chronic stress, depletes the adrenal system, and disconnects women from their intuitive wisdom. This constant output model ignores fundamental biology. When you discovered your energy drains in Chapter 1, you likely noticed patterns tied to overriding your body's natural signals. Your cellular energy system rebels against forced consistency because it's programmed for strategic variation. Understanding these phases helps you work with your biology instead of against it. The 4 distinct energy phases operate like seasons. Follicular phase, inner spring. Rising estrogen enhances verbal skills, learning capacity, and social connection. Ovulatory phase, inner summer. Peak energy, confidence, and creative problem-solving abilities emerge. Luteal phase, inner autumn. Analytical thinking, attention to detail, and intuitive insights about what needs to change activate. Menstrual phase, inner winter. Reflection, rest, and deep wisdom integration occur naturally. Georgia owned a boutique consulting firm and had always scheduled her client calls randomly throughout the month. After learning about cyclical productivity, she began booking strategy sessions during her ovulatory phase when her visionary thinking was strongest, detailed project work during her luteal phase when her analytical mind was sharpest, and used her menstrual phase for reflection and planning. Her clients began commenting on the increased quality and insight of her work, and she found herself naturally making better business decisions by trusting her cyclical intuition. The rebellion against constant output manifests as burnout despite loving your work, creative blocks at inconvenient times, feeling disconnected from your inner knowing, physical symptoms like irregular cycles or chronic fatigue. Your body isn't sabotaging your success. It's trying to guide you toward sustainable power that honors your natural rhythms while building the intuitive foundation we'll explore in Chapter 3. Awakening your inner sacred fire. Breath is the bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind, and specific breathing patterns can activate dormant feminine energy centers throughout the body. Unlike the forceful breathing techniques often associated with masculine practices, feminine breathwork emphasizes receptivity, flow, and gentle activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. These practices help clear energetic blockages, restore natural hormone balance, and reconnect women with their innate intuitive abilities. Your sacred fire lives in your breath. After completing your energy archaeology dig from Chapter 1, you've cleared space for new energy to flow. Now it's time to ignite the feminine fire that's been waiting beneath those energy drains. This isn't about forcing power into your system. It's about awakening what already exists within you. 3 primary breathwork practices activate feminine energy centers. Womb breathing. Directing breath to the pelvic bowl activates creative and sexual energy, reconnecting you with your generative power. Heart-centered breathing. Opening the chest activates compassion and receptivity, allowing you to receive guidance and abundance. Spiral breathing. Following curved pathways through the body honors feminine energy's natural flow patterns. Natalie had been struggling with creative blocks in her art practice for over a year. Despite trying various techniques, she couldn't access the flowing, intuitive creativity she once knew. When she began practicing daily womb breathing, visualizing her breath flowing down into her pelvis and imagining golden light expanding through her creative center, something shifted. Within weeks, she was creating again, but more importantly, she felt reconnected to a deep well of feminine wisdom she had forgotten existed. Her art became more authentic and powerful, and collectors began seeking out her work specifically for its emotional depth and intuitive resonance. The sacred fire differs from masculine energy because it flows in spirals rather than straight lines, builds gradually rather than exploding instantly, sustains through receptivity rather than force, creates through collaboration rather than domination. This awakened energy becomes the foundation for developing reliable inner guidance, which we'll explore in Chapter 3. Your breath is preparing the pathway for your intuition to speak clearly. Movement that fills your tank. Traditional fitness culture often emphasizes high-intensity, goal-oriented movement that can actually deplete feminine energy reserves. Restorative movement practices honor the body's need for both dynamic expression and gentle restoration, working with rather than against natural energy cycles. These practices help regulate the nervous system, improve lymphatic flow, and maintain the flexibility needed for energy to move freely through the body. Movement becomes medicine when it fills rather than drains. After clearing your energy drains and awakening your sacred fire through breathwork, movement becomes the next layer of your cellular revolution. The key is choosing practices that support your current energy state, rather than forcing your body into someone else's fitness agenda. 3 categories of restorative movement support feminine energy. Undulating movements that follow the spine's natural curves help release stored tension and trauma. Dance and freeform movement allow the body to express and process emotions somatically. Gentle yoga flows and stretching during low-energy phases support rather than drain the system. Margaret was a former marathon runner who had pushed her body to its limits for years. When chronic fatigue forced her to stop running, she felt lost and disconnected from her body. Discovering gentle, intuitive movement practices changed everything. She began each morning by asking her body what it needed, sometimes flowing dance, sometimes restorative stretching, sometimes just gentle swaying. As she learned to listen to and honor her body's wisdom,